discussed. Coming to the next one, Arjavam. But Arjava is derived from the word Raju. Raju means straightforward. Arjavam, straightforwardness. So what is straightforwardness? Straightforwardness in our mind, in our personality. Meaning freedom from crookedness. What is straight, which is not crooked? So absence of crookedness is called Arjava. So Vakrata is crookedness. Kapat, cheating, showing differently, having one thing in the mind, a different thing in the speech, a third thing in the action. There is a misalignment within myself. These three aspects are there: the body, the word, the speech, and the mind, and alignment in all the three aspects of my personality. Manasyekam, vachasyekam, karmanyekam, mahatmanam, vachasanyat, manasyanyat, vachasanyat, karmanyat, duratmanam. Mahatmanam, duratmanam. Mahatma is saintly people. This alignment between their thought and the word and the deed. That is called Viditatmananda, alignment, straightforwardness. It is when there is not there, when there is something in the mind and something else in the word and something else in the action, then there is a split personality. Mind thinks something else, and the speech does say something else, and then the body does something else. So what Swami would call it, there is a jnata, the knower, and karta, the doer. A split between the knower and the doer. So knower, the mind, knows one thing. However, the doer performs an action which is different from the knower. Meaning that whenever I am not truthful, I am not honest, I know that. The mind knows what honesty is, what truthfulness is, the mind knows. But still I may, because of some compulsion again, as I say, if I have the freedom, if nothing is to be lost, I have no price to pay, nothing to sacrifice, then I will be an honest, straightforward person, which basically we are. The conflict arises when being straightforward, being honest, being truthful requires some kind of a sacrifice of something that is otherwise valuable to me, or I think valuable to me. Basically, those acquired values for wealth or power or fame, so sometimes their attraction is so strong that they become more valuable to me than my honesty or my truthfulness. Then in that conflict, the honesty loses the battle. And so, understand that essentially, by nature, we are all saints. One saving grace, really. Something to take comfort from. By nature, we are Brahman. What am I talking about? Very saint. So, Atma is Brahman and mind is saintly by nature. Because we must learn in Tattva Bodha, mind is created from Sattva aspect of the five elements. And so, Sattva is our nature. The Rajas and Tamas, the Raga and Dvesha, the impurities are incidental. They are intruders, they are not our nature. We'll come to that in the next value. And therefore we love honesty. Each one of us by nature loves to be honest and truthful. unfortunately this pressure or compulsion of these other acquired values, which is what compels me to sacrifice what I liked, the honesty. So that is where the vakrata comes, that is where crookedness comes, that's where misalignment comes. You have heard in English there is a saying, honesty is best policy. Policy they say. So honesty is rujuta, honesty is straightforwardness. And why is it best policy? Because we already discussed in the morning that when we think one way and say another way, then you need a very long memory to remember what I say to this person, what I say to that person. And a split within myself, between knower and the doer also, creates a conflict and thereby loss of my inner vitality. The big price that I will pay is my inner strength. That is what we are sacrificing when the alignment is not there. And creates a conflict, sense of guilt is created. Well, I love to be an honest person, I know what honesty is, and when I, for some reason, act in an adverse manner, I know I've done something wrong. Creates in me a sense of guilt. All of this is a big price to pay in terms of creating unhappiness or misery for myself. So if we in fact take into account the reason why we sacrifice honesty is to be happy. Ultimately, that I sacrifice my honesty for the sake of some wealth, for some name, fame, power, something that is otherwise dear to me. Well, ultimately by that I seek to be happy, isn't it? But by creating a split within my mind and creating conflict and guilt, I am already creating unhappiness for myself. So what is the point of acquiring happiness by way of becoming unhappy? This is a losing game, is it not so? The very thing that I want to acquire is the very thing that I am sacrificing in the process of acquiring that. It's called self-goal. There is an expression called self-goal. So instead of your ball, so you're a soccer player or whatever, hockey player, you self-goal means that you give them the benefit. You hit the ball in your own court. That's called self-goal. This is how it is. In the process of acquiring happiness, I am creating conflict, guilt and unhappiness for myself. That is why it is an honest-based policy. Does it make sense? Policies that should make sense. Never. Honesty, straightforwardness, truthfulness is the best policy for my peace of mind. Because it creates guilt, creates conflicts, creates stresses. And we say, all the stresses can be traced to this crookedness and split within my own personality. And that is because of a clash of two values. The natural value, and honesty is the natural value, and so the acquired value for some material things, when there is a clash, when I do not realize that, I am submitting myself to something that is going to make me unhappy when I don't realize. That's when I sacrifice my honesty. I become a corrupt person. And although the world may think that these fellows are dishonest, always get ahead, maybe they do. But they lose as far as the inner peace and happiness is concerned. And in my opinion, I do not think that anybody who is dishonest can get ahead. We seem to connect the two things. So this is why you look at this person is dishonest and he got away with this. But how do we connect the cause and effect? How can we say that this dishonest action on this part has earned him this? How do we know that? That the prosperity is something that this person gained. By being dishonest, we are assuming that his dishonest action is a cause and his getting away with material wealth is the effect. How do we know that? There is no way for us to connect the cause. Maybe what is getting now is a result of what he has done something in the past. How do you know? Somebody wrote a very nice book in which he gave an example of a farmer who has a huge silo in which he stores his grains. He takes 3 crops during the year. When he dumps his grain in the top of the silo, there is an opening at the bottom from which he takes out. So he grows rice in monsoon, wheat in winter, and corn in spring. 3 crops. So he dumps rice first, then dumps what? Wheat. And now you see him dumping corn. When he opens the bottom, what does he get? Rice. Wait a minute. He is dumping corn and getting rice. How can it be? He is getting rice because he has already stored rice earlier. Meaning that even if you find that a person is being prosperous, etc., there is no way for us to know that it is dishonesty which is earning him this. Then every dishonest person should be prosperous. Is it not so? Is that a rule? No. So please do not be deluded by this conclusion that people have these days, that you can get ahead only when you are smart. Smart is dishonest. That's a wrong conclusion. The law of karma always works. As you sow, so you reap. You cannot reap something different from what you have sown. A firm conviction about this must be there. About the law of cause and effect, which is law of karma is nothing law of cause and effect. The effect has to be consistent with the cause. It may be possible that my honest action may not yield the reward immediately. But when I do a good action, it has to yield a good result. It has to be so. Because there is a cause and effect connection. Therefore, Arjavam, honesty is the best policy. For a harmony in my mind, for an integrated personality, for conserving my inner energy, and thus becoming a strong person. If you have the inner strength, the moral strength, the spiritual strength, then it may be possible to overcome the obstacles which somebody wants to overcome by being dishonest. Apparently he wants to he overcomes an obstacle. But you can overcome that obstacle also by being honest, and by the reason why a person compromises value is because of the inner weakness. Doesn't have that moral strength, doesn't have the conviction in life. That as you sow, so you reap. That conviction is not there. Doesn't know the basic rules about the life, and therefore they do that. They cannot make the role model for us or for anybody for that matter. Arjuna. Then next is second Acharyopasanam. Acharyopasanam. Upasana means really meditation or mental worship, but here it means worship. And as the Bhashyakara will explain, it means Shusha Seva, serving the teacher. That's the value. For what? For acquiring the grace of the teacher. Serving is always for pleasing, and pleasing is for acquiring the grace. We worship Ishvara, serve Him, offer Him the things that He likes, for pleasing Him, for acquiring the grace. So Acharyopasanam, is serving the teacher is for pleasing the teacher, not pleasing in the sense of corrupting him or something, not flattering him or something. Pleasing by genuinely behaving or doing something that he likes to see in me. Ideally, a teacher is always a pleased person. What are we going to do to please him? He doesn't need to be pleased by us. And still he does. There are two kinds of pleasure. The famous dialogue between Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. One day Yajnavalkya addresses Maitreyi and says, "Hey Maitreyi, I'm going to leave the home, I'm going to renounce, I'm going to renunciate. But don't worry, I have made enough provision for you. So nothing to worry about." So Maitreyi asks a question, that you are leaving some money for me. Suppose I get the wealth of the entire earth, not what I give. Suppose I get the wealth of the entire earth. Will I become immortal? It was a very strange question he asks. Yajnavalkya says, "I'm sorry. Amrutatvasya nashasya vittena." One cannot get immortality with wealth. You can live a comfortable life, but not immortality. What's the use of the wealth which doesn't make me immortal? When I was, "Sir, please tell me that I know that you have that. Therefore, give me that knowledge by which I can become immortal." This Maitreyi revealed herself to be a spiritual aspirant seeker, a jignasu. Yajnavalkya says, "Hey Maitreyi, come sit here, I'm mightily pleased with you." He always loved her, but today a special love, finding that she is the seeker of knowledge, that makes him mightily pleased. Teachers are always pleased, but when they find that here is a student who wants to learn, who is dedicated to knowledge, who is value for that, that makes the teacher extra pleased. That's what we mean by grace. That grace is always there, but special grace. And that is when the student has to demonstrate that what he or she values is a knowledge, because that's all the teacher can do, is to impart knowledge. So Guru, Gukaras Vandakaravai, Gukaras Tannivartaka. Andakara Nirodhitva, Guru Nitya Vidyate. Or Guru, or the word is Acharya here, it also means Guru. There's two letters, Gu and Ru. Gu samvarane in the sense of veiling, concealing. Ru in terms of removing that veiling. So Gu stands for Andhakara, darkness of ignorance. Gu stands for light that dispels that ignorance. That's what Guru is competent to do. You don't go to Mahatma with a, astrological chart and stuff like that. People come, of course, because they have all kinds of needs are there, and they oblige everybody. But they are mighty, when someone comes along, the desire for knowledge, even Yamaraja in Nachiketa was so pleased in Kathopanishad. Says Yamaraja in Nachiketa, Tvadrunno bhuya Nachiketa prashtha. He is so pleased with Nachiketa's sincerity, commitment to knowledge, and willingness to let go everything. So a teacher like Yamaraja says, the Lord of Death, that may we have questioners like you, may we have disciples like you. So Nachiketa was able to create that conviction in Yamaraja, here is a right aspirant. So this is what a teacher wants to see really. You can't bribe him. with something. He doesn't have any need. And still, even the Upanishad says, Tasmai savidvan upasannaya samyak prashanta chittaya shaman vidaya yanaksharam purusham veda satyam provachatam tattvatam brahma vidyam. The Mundaka Upanishad says that when you find an appropriate adhikari, shishya or jnanasu, an aspirant, then the teacher should impart the knowledge to this person, such that he gains the knowledge of truth, which is liberating knowledge. Although there is no obligation for a wise person to do anything, and still, even the scriptures also recommend, not compel, recommend, that he should impart knowledge. So, creating a condition such that the teacher is ready to impart knowledge, meaning that he or she is now ready to shower that additional grace. Don't think that teachers are that easy to please. Our teachers are different people. Maybe our teachers are too anxious to do impart knowledge, whatever it is, but that wasn't the case always. In Prashnopanishad, the 6 aspirants go to this great sage with a conviction that he knows, he will tell us what we want to know. So the teacher says, stay for 1 year. Brahmacharya, Shraddha, Tapasya, life of penance, life of service. And then ask me question. He didn't even entertain question at that time. Ask me after 1 year. If I know, then I will tell you. So in that 1 year they prove themselves to be worthy students. So Acharyopasanam, serving the teacher, meaning that pleasing the teacher, making the teacher is pleased and is ready and happy to impart your knowledge. So then the real relationship gets established between the two persons. They will relate to this Mahatma as he becomes a guru. Mahatma is a Mahatma, a saint. But you invoke in yourself a Shishya and that person guru. So it took a long time for Arjuna to do that. Arjuna and Lord Krishna were very close, bosom friends for a number of years. I am sure Lord Krishna knew that Arjuna needs his knowledge. But only in that field of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna had the right frame of mind, when he recognized the value of knowledge, that other things cannot solve his problem. Winning the battle, attaining kingdom, even of not only earth and the heaven also, cannot solve his problem of grief. Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple, surrender to you, please teach me. So then Lord Krishna became guru from friend. Arjuna became a disciple. Something like that is meant in this value. What seva, what service, I don't know, it depends on the circumstances. A teacher is not usually in need of any seva anyway. But still, it is developing a tuning up and a bond with the teacher. So that's what seva does. You create a bond. You invoke his affection. Establish a special relationship. But now, he is on his own willing to impart the knowledge. That's the purpose of Acharyopasanam. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipata, long prostration. Sevaya, by service. Pariprashna was the right question. Says there Shankaracharya, win over them. Win over the heart of the teacher. Then you have done your job. Then he has to do his job. But then the right relationship is established. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Then there is Shraddha and Bhakti. The trust and the devotion on the part of the student. And the willingness to impart the knowledge on the part of the teacher. To establish that relationship is the purpose of Acharyopasanam. Meditation upon teacher. When service also requires meditation. If you want to serve the teacher, whatever you are doing, you can see here the things that are around me. This kind of chair and this kind of table and clock here and this is here and that is there and this is here. All of this requires a dedication, is it not so? A recognition of the need of the teacher, what the person would need, and respond to that. It may be a small thing, big thing. What is important is the attitude. That attitude transforms us. It's always the attitude that transforms. Action is simply an occasion for entertaining the attitude in the mind. So that is called Upasana, Acharyopasanam. Next one is Shaucham. Shaucham is purity. Shuchi. So in the state of Shuchi, Shuchi means purity. And the commentators explain that the purity is at two levels. Bahyam Abhyantaram Shaucham. External purity and inner purity. External purity can be called cleanliness. Keeping the body clean. By those days 3 times, bathing 3 times. Twice, whatever. Clothes clean. Environment clean. These days, in a place like United States, when you visit somebody's home, because when Swami is coming, then the hostess is very anxious that the house will be presentable. But you have 1 or 2 teenage children, it's impossible. They just close the room, that's all. It's impossible to clean that room and difficult to even look at that thing. We don't know how the person lives in that. But this external disorder also in a way shows some disorder in the mind. Because Swami used to say that this external order shows an organized mind. So, the importance of being a clean person, an organized person. Not only your body, not only your clothes, but around also you is organized. That requires a value for cleanliness. Requires an alertness also of setting things right. And so, there is external cleanliness of the body, clothes, surroundings, my possessions. We can also include the cleanliness of the food in there because according to the scriptures, the annam of the food that we eat also has an effect on the mind. So what we eat also becomes important. That affects our body, affects our mind. And so perhaps they will prescribe sattvic food. Katu, amla, atiushna, tichna, ruksha, vidahina. Avoid too much spicy food. Avoid stale, leftover food. Fresh food. Sthira, snigdha, food that is stable. If what is not stable outside will not be stable inside also. If there is a potato and a piece of meat, you can see how potato remains stable for quite some time, that thing starts stinking in no time. That means that's what will happen within your body also. Sthiraha, snigdhaha, vidyaha, etc., etc. Meaning that the food also, the cleanliness of the food also is important. That's the external cleanliness. Other is the inner cleanliness, the cleanliness of the mind. So as far as my clothes are concerned, I keep them clean by detergent. And we should be careful about when you wear these white clothes, it means for more particular. If a tea drop falls on the right way, you wipe out. If you leave it there, then more longer it stays, more difficult it becomes to remove that stain. So when a stain takes place in your mind is also like a fabric. Can we get easily stained in our day-to-day interaction with people? Sometimes a little hurt for what that person did, some little guilt for what I did, some jealousy, some attachment, some aversion. Very often the day-to-day interaction with the world, they leave a little stain. It may not be a very deep effect, but a little stain. The stain is cleaned right away with detergent, then it is fine. If you do not clean it, then it builds up. Then all of a sudden, Swami, it's difficult to sleep these days. Very anxious. So all these things do not happen overnight. The person has not taken care to keep his mind clean. So these little stains, imagine the cloth or fabric on which little stains are allowed to accumulate. A time may come we don't know what the original color is or what the original fabric is. And therefore, this Shaucham, cleanliness of the mind, means a commitment to keep the mind clean. By detergent. What's the detergent? Pratipaksha bhavana. We already discussed that. Pratipaksha bhavana, deliberately taking a contradictory position. We discussed how the Pratipaksha bhavana of anger is kshama, accommodation, compassion. The Pratipaksha bhavana of pride is humility. Pratipaksha bhavana for pretentiousness is honesty. And like that, every negative thought or tendency that arises in my mind, and that we call negative tendency, which creates a disturbance in my mind, makes my mind restless, unhappy, disturbed, perturbed. We should be alert. Number one, we should be conscious about the thoughts occurring in our mind. We should be able to identify those thoughts that this is called jealousy, this is called hatred, this is called attachment, this is called aversion. Sometimes you don't even know. So I don't have any raga and dvesha. I don't know attachment, no aversion. You don't know what attachment is. It may be there, but I have not spotted it. You follow? So becoming familiar with our mind is the first and important step. Knowing the enemy is winning half the battle, they say. So knowing these tendencies of the mind, jealousy may arise when we find somebody who is better off than we are. They got away with more than we did. He got more raise than I did, got more favor than I did, better position than I did, gets more respect than I do, etc., etc. Whatever I value, when I find more of that in somebody else, then jealousy. Very common thing. Swami, I think that Swami pays more attention there and not here, things like that. Because human mind always compares. This is the problem with human being only. The cows and buffaloes don't compare. So they don't have any complexes like that. Our Swami's famous example, a cow with a shapely horn and cow with a crooked horn. That cow with crooked horn doesn't feel that I am inferior in any way. Then maybe a cow gives 5 liters milk, other cow gives 1 liter, doesn't feel inferior. No comparison, never. They don't have that complexes. But we are evolved creatures, understand? We are more self-conscious. They don't have that self-consciousness to feel jealousy. It's not an advantage. It's a disadvantage, but advantage is turned to disadvantage. Our state of being evolved, if not managed properly, can become a miserable, a great disadvantage. Managed properly can become means of moksha. So that's why we are given that. Unfortunately, most people do not manage it well, and therefore what is a great benefit turns into a disadvantage of most people. This great evolution of self-consciousness becomes the primary cause of misery also, which can become the cause for moksha also, for making the viveka, right choices. But anyway, it is our nature to compare. Why do we compare? Because I am not happy with myself. I compare. And in my opinion, when I find that somebody is better off than I am, I become jealous. I'm just giving an example of one impurity in the mind. When that arises, we should be alert that jealousy is arising. So detergent, what's the detergent? Pratipaksha bhavana. What is the pratipaksha bhavana? What is the contrary position to jealousy? I cannot tolerate his getting ahead. So what is the opposite? Congratulate the person. Share the happiness of that person. Suppose I was in that position, how would I feel? Or we don't always feel jealous of everybody's progress. If my son gets ahead, I am happy, I am not jealous, isn't it? Usually. You don't feel jealous over son. Because I feel proud, my son got admission in an IIT. My dear friend, when he goes there, I am happy. It's not that we are always unhappy, understand, or jealous when somebody progresses. We are happy also. Why? Because there is a relationship, it's mine. So establish that relationship there. He's my brother. He's mine. Then, just as I feel happy when my brother or my friend, etc., when they make progress, even they go ahead. That's what they say. That father always desires a defeat from the son. And Guru desires defeat from the disciple. Guru doesn't feel jealous of disciple because he is authorship there. So also father. So similarly in our mind also we establish that kind of a connection with that person with whom I am jealous will turn into congratulating him or being happy about that person's achievement. It's possible. Because we do feel happy sometimes by somebody's achievement when that somebody is dear to me. And so jealousy can be replaced by this feeling of congratulating, sharing the joy, saying this is mine. How would I feel if I was in etc. It's an example of Pratipaksha Bhavana. Other thing is, this jealousy is a common stuff, that's why I mentioned. And nobody is free from all of this stuff we have. Each one of us has all of this, by the way. What Lord Krishna is prescribing here applies to everybody. Other common thing is self-condemnation. That's another common thing. With again human being. Because of self-judgment. As we say, it is the nature of our intellect to judge anything with which it comes in contact. The first thing is what I do is judge and then decide my strategy. understand that the first thing I'm conscious of is myself. Therefore, the first judgment I make is a judgment about myself. It's self-judgment. And we said, usually I am not very kind to myself. Because I have expectations of my own self. I expect myself to be all right all the time. I expect myself to be successful all the time. I expect myself to be so this, that, So this is what my expectations are for myself. I want to be perfect. Must be right. Must be in command. Must be successful. Must be truthful. Must be honest if you are a seeker. And when I find that I am not able to live up to my own expectation of myself, then I fail myself. I dislike myself. Sometimes reject myself. If I don't do something about it, the simple dislike may build up into rejection. If I don't do something about that, the rejection may build up into condemnation. And then it's out of my hand. Up to a certain point, this process is in my hand. If I do not correct the course, then it's out of my hand. Therefore, being alert in our mind. This self-judgment is bringing about a self-dissatisfaction, self-rejection. Because I am very critical of myself. I may be critical of the world also, but before that, I am critical of myself. And I have set very stringent standards for myself as to how I should be. And mostly I fail. So generally I am unhappy with myself. That's the cause of our unhappiness. So this is an impurity, very bad. And therefore we must be watching. And when I find that I am judging myself in this manner, I disapprove of myself, I reject myself, stop, become alert. Pratyapaksha bhavana is what? Self-acceptance. So very important value, self-acceptance. We talked about acceptance of others, In talking about kshama or accommodation, how we say? We should accommodate gracefully the shortcomings of others. But let us also give that benefit to our own self of being graceful about accepting my own shortcomings also, my own limitations, my own imperfections. Nobody is perfect. And then gracefully accepting my imperfections. That's how I'm made. What can I do? This is how my nose is. What can I do? My height is this. Or what I am is what I am. Not for my, because of Ishvara has made me this way. And that's the reason for that. And therefore, whatever shortcomings I have, whatever imperfections I have, I may want to do something about them. If I feel that they are an obstacle to what I want to achieve, then I will work on them. Acceptance does not mean that I do not change. Always ready to change, ready to improve, where improvement is called for. But that does not mean that I should condemn myself as I am. That's all. Sometimes people feel that, Swami, if you are content, then how will there be progress? You're satisfied with yourself, how can there be progress? So it is taken for granted that progress can come only when there is dissatisfaction. Usually that's what the history shows. Necessity is mother of invention. And so all progress has come because of dissatisfaction. So we feel that if you are satisfied, if you are content with what we are, accept what we are, how will I make progress? It's not that you have to reject yourself to make progress. In fact, by rejecting myself, I lose the very capacity to do something. Self-rejection is draining away my inner vitality. That does not mean that I necessarily accept or condone my limitations. I have a commitment to overcome them wherever necessary. There are some things I can overcome, something I cannot overcome. Something I can do. My eyes are what they are. I need glasses. What can I do? People make fun of you when you're in school, when you wear glasses. What can you do? If you also keep on rejecting yourself because you're this little, you'll be miserable. Therefore, being also Kshamashiram meaning being accommodative, gracefully accepting myself meaning gracefully accepting my limitations. With a commitment to change wherever I can, but not rejecting myself. That's the worst thing I can do to myself. So, this self-rejection also is a great impurity. We should be watching for that, and correcting the course of recognizing my limitation and recognizing that I have not created that, I have inherited that, and at the most I have a commitment to change where I can, but not brand myself because of that. Not branding myself, not judging myself, branding myself, rejecting myself. So Shaucham. And so forth. So some examples we give of the inner impurity, commonly occurring. In short, we should be conscious about the various thoughts and attitudes of our mind, and where we find that it is against our value, should be ready to correct it right there. Shaucham, stairyam. Next one. Steadfastness. Being steadfast. Steadfast means what? When you have chosen a certain goal for yourself, before choosing the goal, think 10 times or 1,000,000 times whether it is a worthy goal or not. Don't choose a goal that I want to become somebody like that. That is all wrong thing. I don't want to become somebody else. I must become myself. The whole thing of becoming something else is a wrong track. But choose a goal that we are here talking about in the context of knowledge. The goal we are talking about is moksha, of course. But this can apply to any worldly goal also. Steadfastness. Because there is a tendency to cop out when you come with difficulty. Because they say that Shreyamse Bhavignani, whenever you take up any auspicious thing or good thing, the obstacles will come. It is the nature of obstacles to come in the way whenever we want to do something worthwhile. It's the nature of things. Prarabhyate na khalu vigna bhayena nichehi. One Subhashita, a saying says that the people of lowest category do not even commence something because of fear of obstacle. No, I don't think I can do it. They don't even take it up. Prarabdha, having commenced, Vigna Vihata Viramanti Madhya. The middling people, when they come across a vigna or obstacle, they give up. The lowest people do not even begin something for the fear of obstacle. The middling people, when they encounter an obstacle, they just let go. Then, prarabdham. So, punah vigna hata. So, again and again. So, uttama jana na parityajanti. Who are the uttama jana, the exalted people? Those who do not give up. Their goal and their effort, even when confronted by the obstacles again and again. Vignahi punah punah abhihanyamanaha. prarabdham chottama janaha na parityajanti. Meaning that obstacle is a common thing in life. It will come. And when you decide for a spiritual progress and spiritual path, obstacles can be there. Obstacles come at three levels. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika. Adhyatmika meaning that my own body or my own mind can become an obstacle to me. Adibhautika, the world around me can become an obstacle to me. Adidaivika, my stars, my karmas and all kinds of things that I don't do, they can become obstacles to me. Obstacles can come. As far as my personality is concerned, sometimes ill health, sometimes laziness, sometimes lack of initiative, sometimes lack of dispassion, lack of conviction. All of these can be obstacles from the individual side. From the world also obstacles can be there, from the family, from this, that and whatnot. And obstacles can be there also from so-called divine forces, prarabdha, luck, ill luck, bad luck. So it is their nature to come. It is my job to try to overcome them, not submit to them. Before that, I must be clear as to what my objective is. The greater the conviction I have about the goal, stronger my effort will be. You look at the freedom struggle of India. It went on for 100 years. Even if you look at life of Mahatma Gandhi, how many obstacles came? How many? Again and again and again and again. Will not give up. Will not give up. Will not give up. So any worthy goal, if you see any great person who have made some worthwhile accomplishment in their life, you find that there are obstacles in their life. It's never smooth running. And great athletes, great scientists, or great person in any field, obstacles come. Many people give up. But those who don't give up, stay with it, they are the ones who achieve. Now we are not comparing ourselves with athletes and stuff like that, but I am just saying that how it is the nature of obstacles to come. And that, but it's a worthwhile goal. I must develop stronger and stronger conviction about what it is that I want in my life. Then mumukshutvam should become strong. I should understand very clearly that the ignorance is my primary problem. And various complexes that ignorance of creator has created are my problems. World is not my problem. Nobody else is responsible for my problem of sadness or unhappiness. Ignorance should become very clear. If I recognize that ignorance is my problem, then I will motivate to remove ignorance. If I think that you are my problem, I will remove you. So whatever I consider as a cause of my difficulty, I will work on that. But then that's what we always do. We keep on fighting like that Don Quixote with somebody or the other, think that is my obstacle, that is my problem. Only problem is ignorance. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhu, atmaiva ripuhu atmana. Lord Krishna says that my own self can be my friend, a benefactor, my own self can be my enemy. The enlightened self or the self with vivek or discrimination is my friend. Self is opposite, aviveka, non-discrimination is my enemy. So our conviction should be very clear. What am I seeking in life? What's my problem? So Swami would say that what the teacher first does is makes the student aware of the problem. So there is a problem in life. And what's the problem? That ignorance is a problem. Then of course comes the superimposition. Then comes this and so forth. When that becomes clear, and that should come to my mind again and again, whenever my mind blames somebody, when a mind looks at somebody else as a cause of my problem, I should bring back to mind, nobody is my problem. I am also not my problem. Ignorance is the problem. And complex is created, the identification and the complex is created by ignorance, that's the problem. And knowledge is the only solution. If this is clear, the sadhana and sadhya, there's a booklet, a small book by Puja Swami is called Sadhana and Sadhya. Formerly it was all about sadhana and sadhya. Swami begins with sadhya. What is the goal? The sadhana, the means is decided when the goal is clear to us. And so when more clear we are about what we are seeking, more clear we are about the means, there is knowledge. If knowledge is important, then learning is important. If that is important, Antahakara Shuddhi is important. Then Viveka Vairagya is important. Then the values are important. Then I can focus all my energy into where I should focus. And if my conviction is strong, I will not bother about the obstacles may come. But I can stay put. So stairyam, steadfastness, is also, a Yoga Shastra talks about many obstacles at individual level. So one of them is ill health, one of them is lack of initiative, one of them is lack of vairagya, etc., etc. But within myself, obstacle can be there mainly. And obstacle as far as the divine is concerned, prayer. So prayer should also become an important part of our daily routine, because we always lack the adequate strength to overcome the difficulties, and I need help. So recognition that I need help. Swami would say that seeking help when you need is intelligent living. That was one of the definitions of intelligent living, is seeking help when you need help. But to discover that I need help is the first thing. That I need help. That I am not enough to overcome the problems that I have, and I need help from Ishvara. That's where the Guru also came. Ishvara Krupa, Guru Krupa, Shastra Krupa, Atma Krupa, grace of Ishvara, grace of teacher, grace of scripture, grace of the self. You need all of this. So work for those things. That's how we can overcome those obstacles, can remain steadfast. Stairyam, Atma Virigraha will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam